Yes, welcome to The Hustle with your girl, Lena Seven, right here across from my alma mater, Howard University, as well as where I grew up. Yes, grew up just down the street. I'm a 6 and 0 kind of girl. I know it was a little rough back in the day when I came from that area, but nonetheless, it's still my home. That's where I grew up. That's just where I come from. Originally from Massachusetts, but nonetheless. But anyway, so today is going to be an awesome show. I have two people that I'm excited to get to know a little bit better. I just met them through a friend of mine, and I can't wait to feature them today because they're doing some real stuff in the community. They really are. They're taking it back. They're really giving people who participated in the whole basketball culture in DC. These are people that really put DC on the map for being the real basketball mecca for high school guys, the Kevin Durant's, the Michael Beasleys. All of these guys started from somewhere, okay? And some of them started right here on the courts, the basketball courts in the neighborhood. And so there were guys out here who were really playing with them, guys that helped to contribute, not just the coaches, but some of the guys that really contributed to make them who they are on the basketball court. And these two guys have figured out a way to honor those guys who put their games on the line to help others become who they are right now in the NBA. Okay? And these guys are doing it real big in our community. They are showing their appreciation, their gratitude, honoring these guys through a coalition called the Legends Coalition, DC Legends Coalition. So I'm just honored to have them on my show today and to talk about DC basketball, what it was like back then, what it's like now. We're going to talk to them about the schedule, about their roster. How does it even work? And how did DC become the mecca for DC high school basketball the way we know it is to be today? Because, we've struggled on the pro side. I'm just saying, but now, I cover the Wizards. So, I'm like, wait a minute now. But Bradley Beal is my guy, But anyway, nonetheless, I'm a Wizards fan too at heart, despite the fact that, I have to be objective about them. I'm still a DC girl. So I love my DC sports, especially my pro teams. But nonetheless, all my nephews went to high school around here, so they participated on the basketball scene, including my kids. So I'm always going to feature high schoolers right here, and I'm always going to feature something that gives people some information about what it took for people to get to where they are on the pro side. And we can't ever forget those people and how that journey went to get to the pros, because somebody had to help you, not just the coaches, but somebody had to play you in order for you to be the best at your game. Somebody had to play you, and that's who we're honoring today. So I'm excited about that. The other thing that I just want to give a shout out to real quick are my twins. I just wanted to say that both of them are on spring break. One of them is in California enjoying his life right now. So I'm excited that he's there. And he became Player of the Week for his conference in tennis for Morehouse College. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited that my daughter just became three-peat for the ACC. Yes, my daughter is Freshman of the Week 3 times in a row, okay? So I just wanted to give her a shout out and to let her know how proud I am of her. She three-peated. That's a pretty significant accomplishment. So I just wanted to give her a shout out too, and just to let them both know I'm so proud of them, so excited for them. And, and I look forward to their journey wherever they go. So just wanted to do that. Hey, when I come back, we're going to have Ricky Goins and Brian Chase. And we're also going to find out their background too. Just who are they? Okay, just who are they? I know that they've got this great coalition going, but let's talk to them and find out who they are and what, where did they come from and why did they decide to do this? Because this is pretty exceptional about what they're doing. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'm coming right back with the hustle. Don't forget, every Tuesday, 6 p.m., right here at listenvisionlive.com. You can see your girl right here, and we do it real big at the hustle. It's always about the effort. Okay, the grind, what it takes every day to make it to where you need to be and the results. Okay, right here at the hustle. I'll be right back. Bye. Yes, welcome back to The Hustle with your girl, Alina 7, right here all the time from Listen Vision Live. I have some great guys in the studio with me. I have Ricky Goins to my right. Yes, from the Legends Coalition, right? They are the founders of this incredible coalition that's giving back and recognizing the people that came, that put their games on the line to make other people better in this high school world. I think I have it down, right? Isn't that true, Ricky? Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. And then we have another co-founder as well, Brian Chase, right here to my left. Brian's got an incredible story too. Can't wait for him to reveal all that he's done as well for this coalition and what his beginnings are in this whole line of DC basketball. So without further ado, you guys, tell me a little bit about you, Ricky, and then Brian, I want you to talk about your history first, and then we'll talk about the coalition, okay?
Yeah, well, I played high school basketball at several schools in the area. I played at Eleanor Roosevelt.
Where? Okay,
Roosevelt. I played
at
Coolidge Coolidge for 2 years. Then I graduated from Wheaton.
From Wheaton, okay.
So,
okay.
I didn't get a lot of help with my recruiting in college. I didn't get to go on and play in college, so I started out helping the kids get scholarships.
Okay.
And,
you have such a soft voice, Ricky. You got to talk just a little bit louder. Okay.
Yes, I started out helping kids get scholarships. I started a program called Everyone Deserves a Shot.
Right. But when did you start that, though?
That was 2014.
2014,
yes,
and that's still in existence.
Yes, it
today.
is. In 5 years, we've helped about 50 kids get scholarships
What?
On all levels, from high major Division I to community college.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's outstanding. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So from there, what I realized was, a lot of kids in the area don't know the history of DC basketball.
DC basketball.
They almost feel like
yes.
they started it.
Right.
So me and Brian linked up and decided let's do something to put this on display.
Right.
So that's how we came up with the idea for the Legend Coalition.
Okay.
And we wanted to make it, exclusive but inclusive. So that's why we put the high schools in, that you had to play for your high school team.
Okay.
And that brought out that school pride, which is why a lot of big name guys wanted to play. They wanted to represent their high schools.
Right. Okay.
It's funny, we budgeted first for 8 teams, and that first year we had 26 teams. 26 different schools.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. But they all have to be DC schools.
No. It's been DMV.
Oh,
And
okay.
then,
It's been DMV.
Our
Okay.
second year, we added a couple college teams.
Okay. Okay. Outstanding. Wow. Okay. So go ahead, Brian. So tell me more about you and where you come from and all, you know.
Born and raised here in
Okay.
D.C.
In DC.
Graduated from Dunbar Senior High School.
Okay. Down the street.
Down the street, Crimson Tide. I played 4 years at Virginia Tech.
Okay.
And,
Now, did Virginia Tech recruit you?
yes, ma'am.
They did.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Go ahead.
After I graduated from Virginia Tech, I embarked on a 13-year pro career. Spent a little bit of time in the NBA, but the majority of my career, I've been overseas.
Overseas.
Yeah, I played
Okay.
everywhere.
Everywhere. Like.
2 years in Russia, France, Spain, Turkey, Greece, Germany, Bosnia, Serbia,
Wow.
Italy. Yeah,
Wow.
been all over the place. I just retired 3 years ago.
You just
2016.
retired 3 years ago.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. So let me just ask you about that though. When you wanted to be a pro, okay. So did you go immediately into the pros, or did you have to go to Europe first, then come back to the pros, or what happened?
I just pretty much I never passed up any opportunity to play basketball. And
Okay.
I think that's what jump started it. My college career didn't finish the way that I wanted it to.
Okay.
But I wound up getting a phone call from a semi-pro team, and I went and played extremely well. And then another team wound up calling, which wound up the head coach was a former NBA player, and I played extremely well there. And then they put my name in different places just to get some eyes on me. And once I left there, I got my first invite to a mini camp, which was the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then after that, things just started
Opening doors started to
it
open
just
up
started
for
to
you.
align itself up
Wow.
that way.
So when you so then you went to Cleveland, right? So then once you got to Cleveland, did you stay with them for
No,
a season
that
or?
that mini camp was only for a week.
Okay.
And then maybe about 2-3 weeks later, I got a phone call from my agent, and I was invited to play summer league with the Utah Jazz, and that's really how everything started. I played well during the summer league, and then they invited me back to vet camp, and I made the team.
You made the team.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you stayed in the NBA for how long?
I got cut maybe 2.5 months into the season, and then I left there and went to LA to the Lakers D-League team.
Okay.
And then the following year, did the same thing all over again. Played summer league with the Wizards, and then I wound up got invited to go back to vet camp with the Miami Heat.
Okay.
And then that was kind of like the same process
Same
as
thing
well.
over and over.
Yeah,
Okay, every
yeah,
year.
yeah.
Okay. And then once you got to Europe, what was your attitude like back then? When you find, is there some sort of separation? Bye-bye. Is there some sort of separation that goes from, okay, I've got to now make this work in Europe? Or were you like, oh no, this is another great opportunity for me?
It was kind of both. Because it was a great opportunity, but then it was kind of a culture shock at the same time. But if you play at a high level in Europe, you got a chance to make a pretty good living for yourself. And it was more so the adjustment to the lifestyle.
To the lifestyle.
Yeah,
Okay.
of being able to be in a foreign country pretty much by yourself, and then still have to, have the mental capacity to focus and, become the best
Yes.
basketball player you
Ooh.
could possibly be.
That's a very good point, because you got to be like your own cheerleader on
Yeah.
the road. And your support system is not really in place. And, the only reason why I say that is because my daughter played pro tennis for a while she's young. You can play pro in tennis before you go to college.
Right.
And that's what she did for a whole year.
Okay.
And then, but she had kind of been playing international tennis since she was like 13.
Okay.
So she's on the road and she's like, Mom, lost. I'm in Germany. I'm like, huh? You know what I'm saying? But she didn't enjoy it that much, but she was young and,
Right.
she was with her tennis family, that she traveled with. But I find that that's very hard on young people.
You gotta
How did you work that?
I just know I'm probably one of the most mentally tough people I know. So
oh,
just to be able to handle.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like always. I mean, I've been through a lot, so it wasn't nothing. I can adjust to a lot of different situations, but the first, I'm gonna say, month was a little difficult until I actually allowed myself to open up to the experience, like to go out and see the city and, you know, go
Have
eat
fun
dinner. Yeah,
in it, right?
exactly.
Enjoy the moment. I mean, your career
Yep.
is just booming in Europe.
Yeah.
So it's like, open up your heart,
Right.
enjoy the city. So you started to really take
Yeah.
in and enjoy the moment. That's excellent. That's a really good point, because I think that that's not a relatable experience for a lot of people.
Right.
It isn't. So a lot of people don't really know that. I know that, excuse me, only because I had to let my daughter go starting from 13
Wow.
to South Africa.
Oh, wow.
That's hard. And,
Yeah.
I never wanted to stop her, but at the same time, I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Tennis is a different world.
Yeah.
And one day I'm going to have my daughter on the show so we can talk about it, because tennis is a different world.
Yeah.
Because you got to be on the road very young with tennis. So, okay. So we see where you guys both have a very strong basketball program. So how do you come together and decide, okay, now we want to do something that honors the guys that made other guys who they are in this sport?
Well, it's really kind of.
If that's even the whole essence, because I could be off, but that's the way I see
it just started with a conversation we was having in somebody's basement about
no way.
Something we could do, because we had started prior to that. We had started posting guys that had played over the years, just kind of honoring them, and it became really popular. We started getting a lot of likes, and people requesting us. So it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's take this and just make it visible.
Right.
So and always recognize there was a league in Montgomery County. They did a 40 and over every year alumni league.
Okay.
And I had reached out to them about expanding it. They were, they didn't really want to do that at the time. So me and Chase started talking. It was like, man, we might can do this ourselves with the connections we have, with the reputations that we have. But our main thing we wanted to do was to get the buy-in of the legends in the city first. So before we started, we really do this, we wanted to get the Greg Jones and the Kurt Smiths and Lawrence Motons and guys like that could bring people that want to still have a following. They just want to see them on the basketball court in New Jersey.
Okay.
And if we could do that, then we could see where it goes.
Okay.
And it took off and became
So you reached out to these guys, and they were
a lot of them are friends of ours.
Okay.
But it was just in all of my anything I've ever tried to do, I don't mind recruiting. I don't mind trying to get people bought into what I'm trying to do. Some people have a lot of pride; they don't want to do that. If I need, I don't know. I got to find out what it's going to take to get you to be a part of what I'm going to do.
Right.
And that's what the focus was. How do we get the guys that people want to see on the court, and then it's just going to bring more and more. So without those guys, I don't think we would have had the initial following we had. So then when we went and added the University of Maryland and George Mason and Montgomery College, they already knew what they was getting themselves into.
Okay. And I should say, because I think that I have not said this enough, this is a 30 and over.
It's 30 and over.
Okay. So, and that's because most guys is still playing.
Well, we want to make it fair. Yeah, we want to make it fair. Some of them are. This guy, we had a guy that Booney Green, 54, and was playing and played the whole game and won championship the first year. So, it's...
What? No way.
And you get guys like that might be in a little better shape than guys their age.
Right.
They want to play with somebody. They want to play with 20-year-olds, but they might play some 30, 35-year-olds. Average team is probably about 35 to 36 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's trending about that. It's not really trending much younger or older, which is where you want it, because that's where you're going to get your best. And one thing we did was we had full stats. So you could go into each week after every game and see what each stat from field goal percentage. So the Urban Coalition was never able really to do that to that magnitude, which is what we modeled after. Okay. I think that's probably the best league ever. Mm-hmm. So the full stats brought guys in and like, man, I lead the league in scoring, I lead the league in assists. We do our own all Met team. Mm-hmm. Oh. So we have first team, second team, third team. They take the pictures with the jerseys. It's all on the website. So we go that extra mile so that the guys feel like they're getting more out of it. Than just showing up and playing basketball. These are things you can go back right now on our page and see everything that happened the last 2 years.
Okay. So Brian,
Yes.
Tell me, right? So you what kind of vision did you foresee when you first got involved in this organization?
My main objective, which we always just sat down and brainstormed and talked about certain things, but
How do you guys know each other though?
basketball.
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 Just basketball.
Were you guys rivals at one time?
Nah, he's old. He's way older. He's way older.
Don't do that.
That's-
He's way older.
Relax. Watch your
I was
mouth.
in
Don't
middle
way-
school.
don't
I was
way
in
older
middle
than me.
school when he
That's-
played. He's
you
way.
put 3 Y's on that way.
We are not in this. We are not in the same era. We played pickup together in the same gym.
Yeah.
And Sunday mornings, and we just
Yeah,
you
just
know.
Oh, okay.
conversations,
So you guys
yeah.
just had a friendship even before the legend.
Yeah, just
yeah,
playing
yeah,
ball.
yeah,
We just
just always playing
genuine. You recognize genuine people. Recognize genuine people.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
so.
okay. All
But
right,
my-
cool.
my,
Come on and join us, Lawrence. That's my co-host over there. So
Okay.
he'll be probably asking you some questions. How you doing, Lawrence? That's good. Okay, so go ahead. So tell me, what was your...
my main objective, when we were brainstorming and just throwing ideas out there about the league was to try and get is pay as much homage as we possibly can to guys before me,
Yep.
but also
Guys who helped you.
exactly,
Right?
and guys
Okay.
that paved the way for basketball players like myself, who you may not have seen on TV.
Have seen on TV.
Right, because there's such a rich basketball history here of a lot of guys who didn't make it to the NBA, but they have a fierce reputation, in the streets of DC from a
Right.
basketball standpoint. But then
Okay.
also creating a platform where, kind of like when we were growing up, being able to go to the Herbo when we were kids and
Right.
watching the older guys play, and then still seeing some pros, and then you're able to touch these people as 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and we were just trying to kind of create that environment again where some of these younger kids, even in high school, they need to understand that the game of basketball, or how good they are in this city, it didn't just start with them. It's guys that were older than me that kind of set the tone or set the bar so high that's the reason why you have to be able to hold your own wherever you play at in this city. So we were just trying to, create that environment and give them kind of like a blueprint of legends of where this thing started from, and that's the
Okay.
reason why, we wanted to put this together.
But, okay, so just talk to me real quick about why do you think basketball, I mean, I know obviously we have Kevin Durant, but why do you think that basketball has become so strong of a sport here in the DMV area? What made it so strong here as opposed to any other place?
I think one thing is we kind of did it first. The first black player to play in the NBA came from this area. We had a lot of All-Americans early on. Ray Auerbach went to school in this area. So a lot of the guys that were kind of laid down the foundation for basketball, what it is, came from this area. And it kind of trickled down. I mean, Elgin Baylor,
Yes.
which was really the first superstars came from Spingarn High School. So we kind of figured it out early on, kind of how the South figured out football, we figured out basketball.
Yeah, because I mean, right, if you think about it, I mean, some of the Hall of Famers do come from what? Texas and Florida in football.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And DC is just becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. I've seen it kind of develop, and then I really saw it when my nephew was playing at Gonzaga for Turner. So I know
Who's your nephew?
Turner, Bradley Jackson.
Okay.
And now Bradley is an assistant coach at Randolph-Macon now.
Okay.
So he's doing well. So we're so proud of him. But anyway, so I mean, I just saw it through, and then he played AAU.
Okay.
So I started to see. My sister was like, "Have you been paying attention to all this basketball?" And I'm like, "Wow, I didn't realize DC was so talented for basketball
It's a
players."
hotbed. It's a hotbed. That's how serious it is in this area, and it always has been. And you look at the DMV area is the number one recruiting area for a lot of these big time college programs. Like, they come here to find all the talent. With all these AAU teams that we have from top to bottom, arguably the best talent in the country. And it kind of has always been like that. Like, I played on one of the top AAU teams during my time when I was in high school coming out, and You know, we had the #1 player in the country, maybe the #3 player in the country at the time. Even Bernard, he's not here right now, but Bernard, we played high school together. And
You did?
Yeah, I've known Bernard
okay.
since we were 10 years old, but he was top
Oh, wow.
25 in the country coming out of high school. So you think of all of these players on one team that were ranked in,
Wow,
you know,
that's impressive.
coming out of high school. So again, the bar was set high years and years
Right.
and years ago.
Right.
So
do you think that people like, what about Baltimore? How do you think Baltimore has contributed to basketball?
They've
in
had
this area,
they've had a lot of good players too.
with Muggsy Bogues and you know what I'm saying?
they
Remember them in high school?
yeah, no, they
That was a serious team.
But keep in mind that the division between DC and Baltimore is a local division. Like the rest of the country sees us as the same area.
Right.
Oh,
We
I
see
see.
ourselves
Yeah, you
as separate from
yeah.
Baltimore
We
and
see
Northern
it.
and Northern
But the
Virginia
rest of the
and
country thinks
the rest of the
it's
country is
Baltimore.
like this is the
Yeah.
DC metropolitan area. Baltimore is the DC Baltimore area. You know,
Right.
one highway separates us, but we have to break it down to I'm from DC, I'm from Northern Virginia, I'm from, you know, that's more of a personal thing, personal rivalry thing.
It's always
Right.
been
They've had a lot. They've
Yeah.
had a lot of guys too. You know.
So, do you think it has to do with a little bit of the coaches in this area as well? I mean, can you say that the coaching has contributed to being this solid mecca for basketball?
Well, I mean, I think historically we've always had really good coaches that just were the John Thompson, the first black
Exactly.
coach to win. You know, so
Right.
we've had coaches. Our guys took chances early on. You know, and basketball was
Then
not.
bias. I mean,
Then,
he's
and,
also
and basketball was
contributed
not a major sport until the '80s in terms of like what it
Until the
is
80s,
now. You
yeah.
know, we had guys in the '50s and '60s and '70s that were just on the forefront. So when it became major, we were already kind of in position to be,
Right.
you know, be there, be the, you know, the head
Yes.
runners. And we've had so many #1 players in the countries and college players of the year and high school player of the year that, you know, we just figured out early. So you definitely have to give it to the coaching, but it may not just be the guys that the John Thompson, those guys. There's playground coaches and boys and girls club coaches that develop pros. You know,
Yep.
Yes. Wow, that's exceptional. Okay, so let's get to your coalition now. So you establish this coalition, okay? And then everybody starts coming out, everyone is supporting it, and then you say, wait a minute, we're on to something.
yeah.
So your vision is cultivating into what?
Well,
Talk about
It's-
like what it
it's
is.
interesting. We go back and forth about what to do
What to do with
because
it, okay.
you know it's
because it's growing.
So like right now we're doing the winter session. So this is the first time we ever did this. So we're way we kind of wanted to do it. So many people are reaching out to play in the league. We were like, okay, let's see if we can duplicate this. So now
Okay.
we have 2 leagues going on. One is in Montgomery County, one is in PG County, and they're going to meet in the city title on March 31st. The winner of Montgomery County and PG. So we decided to take
so
another
now
old.
this is becoming states are getting
Yeah.
getting involved more so than like you said in the beginning. Like Maryland was not really kind of
Yeah, so the first year we had mostly DC schools,
Yeah.
but that's because we
Yeah.
had the league in DC, and we felt like that's kind of since that's where the Elbow started.
where it started.
But
right.
then come the following year, 2018, we had more Maryland schools
Okay.
because, and part of it is, which is kind of why we do this, is like the DC
because
schools.
you can't leave out Prince George's County.
No,
I
they
mean,
had
come
a
on.
lot of guys too, but the DC schools are older. The guys are older. You know, guys kind of after they, you know, played ball in DC, they moved their families to Maryland, so their kids grew up in Maryland. So
In
so this
Maryland,
year we've
yeah.
had more Maryland schools. That's why we decided to split up and see can we run this in multiple locations at the same time.
Yeah,
And
because
it's
I mean,
going
I'm
well.
a DC person, but I moved to Maryland, Prince
Yeah.
George's County,
Right.
and raised my kids in Prince George's
Yeah,
County.
which is the story of a lot of people from DC.
Yeah.
So now, you know, the goal is to see what, you know, I had somebody recently reach out to me from Kansas about possibly, you know, what can we do out there. So, you know, it's because what we try to do is never make it about me. Or if you don't know who I am, if you don't know who Brian Chase is, that's
okay.
fine.
That's
Do you
fine.
know the logo? Do you know the players that's playing? And that was the model that we wanted. And
Okay.
so that way it doesn't matter who's running what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not there to see us or hear, you know, hear me on the mic, whatever it is. You're there to see those guys that you might have watched. And it's crazy because the same fans that watch these guys in high school are the same ones coming to the games.
Yep.
And that's what we wanted to do from the beginning.
Right. Now, do you find that these guys, though, still have something to contribute to the game of players, and that new players can get stuff out of them as well, as you guys may have gotten?
You gonna answer that?
Yeah, I mean, part of it, some of it is this. And the best part is that when a young guy comes and see their dad on the court,
Right.
and they never seen their dad play,
Right.
and all of a sudden
Right.
their dad might go for 20, 25 points. Because when you're older, you might can't do the same things with 20-year-olds, but you can do it with 30, 40-year-olds. So, it's funny to see kids in the stands watching
you
their
see
parents.
that? They're cranking
Oh, that's
up
the
laughing,
that's the
and
best. That's the best part. So
Right.
and then like for example now during the winter, the dads are going to see their kids on the week, and they're
Right,
coming
right.
to see the kids are coming to see their dads on the weekend.
Yep.
Oh my
So
goodness, what?
it works out, and it's what I want to do going forward is I have to find a way to get the high school kids more involved into the games. Like that's what I'm working on now. How do we
Okay.
get the kids involved?
So are the high schools really contributing in a big way? I mean, are they trying to work closer with you guys? Are they reaching out to you like the DC high schools?
Well, I haven't. I've spoken to a lot of my own Dunbar alumni. So what happens is, for especially the first season, we had a lot of alumni come out,
Right.
and every time we played, it kind of restored that feeling when we were in high school. We're going to come back and see our alma mater play.
Okay.
So like former players, some people bring their families that went to Dunbar and they had their
Right.
red and black and stuff on like that. So I think people have personally reached out to their own schools, but that's one of the things that we need to work on as far as incorporating it into the dynamic of what we're doing overall to get a lot of the schools back. And like we had what was that year before last? Carroll, Charlie. Yeah, they had a whole bunch of people come out for what was that? The semifinals,
Semifinal
or
game,
whatever.
right.
They found a lot of alumni to come out for the semifinals game, and it just created a totally different atmosphere. And same thing with Spring On, and
Wow.
the championship game was something totally different. Like the
Different.
atmosphere felt like when we were playing in high school. Everybody's loud and jumping up and down, and every basket or every steal, it created a certain level of excitement.
Of excitement.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And it helps that
a lot of
our
fun.
both of our championship games came down to last shots.
Yep.
It was a 1 point
2 years
game
in a
the
row.
first year, so we've been able to. But part of that build up is what we do on social media
Right.
during the week. There's games of the week. There's a lot of trash talking. I'm a big instigator,
Right.
So I'll get it going because these guys, for a lot of these guys, high school basketball is the best time of their life. Yeah, they went to college and played pro, but it was nothing like playing
like
in
high
front of
school.
your neighborhood. So these guys look up and see the same people that was watching them. Then it just gives you for that 36 minutes, just gives you that feeling back.
Nostalgia, right?
So in terms of like incorporating
Rivalries.
in terms of incorporating the schools, part of what I believe in is organic growth. So I feel like if we can from the ground level involve more the players and get the kids out, then the school will become involved that way.
Right.
Instead of us necessarily reaching out to the schools. Like some schools hear about it and want to be a part of it. I like that because that's more genuine than us trying to reach out and
Right.
but we're new. We've only been around. This is our third league we've done
Third league. But that's been a span of how many years?
since June of 2017.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
so this is the first.
excellent.
This is the first winter session, and it's gone really, really well. So
Really?
something
and
we'll
your
look
winter
at.
section goes until when?
So the PG County and Montgomery County championships will both be on the 24th. Then on the 31st of March,
March.
on the 31st, we'll have the All-Star game, and then we'll have right after that the PG County winner versus the Montgomery County winner.
Okay, and where are all these games?
So the PG County games are in Greenbelt, Maryland, Spring Hill Lake Recreation Center, and the Montgomery County games are Argyle Middle School. The championship game will be played, a city title game will be played at Blair High School, which is on the PG County Montgomery County line. We'll alternate that each year. So we're going to start out Montgomery County.
Oh, okay. In Montgomery County. Wow, that's excellent. Oh my goodness. And then you'll start when? A summer or spring session?
So we debated about it, but I've leaned toward I think we are going to do a summer 2019. But we'll have more details about that in the coming weeks.
Oh, okay. You guys are still kind of.
We were going back and I was going back and forth about
Putting in
it.
the
The
stuff
summer
of the
isn't as easy to pull off because of just things we don't control.
Right.
But we'll figure it out.
You'll figure that one out. Okay. Wow. That's exceptional though. That's really good. What about so just talk to me in terms of when you have young kids that want to come and they want to play against the older guys. Tell me what that is like too. Like, do you, because you got to incorporate that somewhere in there. You got to have like the old with the young. I mean, you can't, have them go full force and beat up on anybody. I mean, we don't want to embarrass people, but we do want to provide a platform where, the young guys get schooled a little bit though.
So, but that's kind of why, we, and to make it fair, that's why it's 30 and over. Because, you can't have 20-year-olds out there with 45-year-olds and they in tip-top shape, and the 45-year-old might just got off of work. He just got off of work, so basketball is not as serious for him. He's trying to play.
As it once was. Okay.
Exactly, but you still also have some of those guys that are just turned 30 or something like that, and some of the guys that may not be quite 40 yet, that the younger guys still want to compete against that person that was in front of him.
Okay.
So if I'm 5 years older or 7 years older than the person that seen me play a long time ago, now this is his opportunity to compete against me and go out there and showcase what he can do, because mentally he still wants that's a trophy if he can outplay a legend in his mind.
Right.
It kind of gives them that incentive to go out there and, continuously compete against guys that they've always watched or they looked up to or whatever. And then you got guys that are older who don't want to allow the younger generation or the younger players to, one up them.
Right. Right.
Get out on them, and they start to compete and take it a little bit more serious. And then as the season goes on, they get in better shape and better shape and better shape. And then, it creates that competition level and gives it a little bit more structure and competitive edge as the season goes on. So one of the things we do is we pay attention to the rosters, maybe like the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season, to see who has the stronger team and see who has more parity on their team.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
true. It's like you need
then,
fairness
exactly.
too, right?
And then
yeah.
those are the kind of games that we tend, when we put the schedule together, then we start to pair those competitive teams all together. We make sure that these will probably be the game of the week every week or whatever, because in order to keep people coming to see these games, they want to see competition.
Right.
They want to, but they also want to see fairness at the same time.
You're right. Wow, that's a. Now, so do you play in
Yes.
any of them, right?
I play.
You do?
Yes.
Which team?
Dunbar.
Dunbar.
You have
do.
to. Yeah,
Does Bernard play too?
No, Bernard.
We've been trying. We've been
We
trying.
tried to get him out of
trying.
retirement, but Bernard said he's not doing anything. He barely.
We've been trying.
Gotta ask him about that one.
I've worked on Grant. I'm working on Grant Hill. I'm working on Dennis Scott. We got people we're working on. Yeah, we got people we're working on just to get, because what the first thing we do is get them out to see it.
Right.
Normally, once we get them, be surprised how many people that was like, I'm not gonna play. Then they got out there and saw it,
exactly.
and then they suited up the next week.
Then the itch came back.
So because it's you realize that it's not so competitive to the point that you got to be in tip top shape, but you got to know what you're doing as
Right.
well.
Exactly.
It's pros out there.
Right.
Eleanor Roosevelt right now got 3 pros on their team.
Yeah.
They just retired. So and they're out there like, we're about to win this championship.
Right.
Good grief. Oh my goodness. Lawrence, you want to ask any question?
So do you have like a preseason or a training camp or?
No. 'Cause
Some teams do though.
So how do you
on their own?
On their own.
They put it together on their own. But for us, once the league starts and you take care of your registration and all that other stuff, it's pretty much you ready to play whenever we come out with the schedule.
Okay,
for
so
the
you
most part.
put together these teams, like let's say you have like 30 guys come out for the same team. Is there
So
go ahead.
the way we manage that is typically, so we're loyal to the guys that's been involved since day one. So you have a team owner that'll facilitate who's on the team and who's not. Much like high school, in high school you got to make the roster. So some guys, everybody don't get to play. Now the roster's open all year. but the team owner who manages the team decides who plays and who doesn't, and they keep and I give them the first right of refusal. So the next year, if they want to put the team back, they can, as long as everything went well. And if they don't want to do it no more, then I'll give somebody else the opportunity. You know.
And one of the things that we do is you have to have played at least one season of varsity in order to be eligible to play. So you have to have played at that school. You can't just.
You just can't come.
Yeah, you can't just come and say I want to.
I'm a legend.
Oh,
Exactly.
No junior varsity
say,
or freshman
play
team.
because I went to Dunbar, because I went to Anacostia or something like
Right.
that. You have to have played at least one season while you were in high school. And what Ricky does a great job of is doing the research and making sure that these guys are telling the truth about at least.
Now, one modification we made for the winter league is, so during summer league basketball, like let's say you're playing high school summer league, you didn't have to attend the school. You just can play summer league. So for the winter, as long as you went to the school, you can play. During the summer, you have to have played varsity basketball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we modified it during the winter, make it more inclusive, and So the way to look at it is, the summer league for us is like a high school regular season, and then the winter league is like summer league.
Okay.
So there's a little looser rules to make it more inclusive. But the summer there's some guys that might not be eligible to play. But because that keeps it competitive, because at that age you don't want bad. What we have to do is make sure the product is good.
Right.
So our rules, trust me, I'm very anal when it comes to rules. Uniform, you step on court, you can't play without a jersey. You can't play, like all that stuff is in place because we have to make sure the product and the brand is protected first.
I'm impressed by your ability to coordinate this.
Yeah.
This
It
huge
takes a
amount
lot of work. I
time
mean,
and effort.
every Monday morning during the summer, I have a reconciliation call with my stat guy to make sure that stuff is in place. I have to review the schedule. It's a lot. It's an operation.
How did you get it to be so organized? Did
Well,
you
it's-
have like a Me Too product that you kind of looked
No,
at?
it's my background.
Okay.
I've been a commissioner of a huge. So my cousin runs the Ocean City basketball class. It's one of the biggest AAU tournaments for years on the East Coast.
Okay.
I used to have to make sure 90 teams got 3 games in 3 days. So once I learned how to do that, and then the marketing I've learned from different jobs I've had and good owners I've worked with.
Wow.
So, but that once you get the part of understanding bracketology and scheduling,
Yeah.
then it's easy to put the other stuff in place.
It's easier to put that. What? Wow. Oh my goodness. Jeez. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't do this. I mean, I know he probably doesn't want to come up here, but we're gonna just kind of give him a shout
How
out.
you doing,
Kind
man?
of like
Good to see
mess
you.
with him right now. So we're like, Bernard just walked in. We're trying to recruit him for the 30 and over, but I don't know if we could do that. Bernard, are you willing to reconsider your recruitment?
We gotta get it. We gotta get him a doctor.
Yeah, you gotta take a physical.
What? That's dependent on your knee. Oh, okay. Well, can you come say that on camera? Would you like to just come right here and say that on camera? Oh, okay, good. You got a mic. See, thank you, Jacob. We just like putting people on the spot. Come over here, Bernard. This is, by the way, for people who are looking at us, this is who we're talking to. He's trying to be inconspicuous, but anyway,
What's up?
Yes, this is Bernard Robinson behind me. How are you?
Doing fine. Yourself?
Good. Doing good. Doing good. So, Bernard, are we...
The word on the street was that this was going down. Oh, I'm sorry. The word on the street was this was going down. I had to come in here. The whole street's talking about this.
So, Bernard, you're kind of like a DC legend. What school did you go to for those people who, don't know you? We all know you, but just say who.
The coolest.
I'm not a DC legend. You got
Yes,
some
you
legends.
are.
You got some legends in here, but
Now,
I ain't.
how can you be?
I
Wait a
played
minute. How can you
basketball
be
in DC.
25? How can you be 25 right in the country in basketball and not be a DC legend?
Because that's what one
Whatever.
person said. You know what I'm saying? That's what one person said in that magazine.
One person
That's
said.
one good look. BJ know.
You went to school with another legend to my left.
Oh yeah. BJ Chase was, and still is a legend. That's the epitome of a legend right there. Not me. This is a guy who's done a lot for the DC area in
Right.
a whole. So this is who
Right.
he is. He's devoted to that. These two guys right here is major
Right.
for this city. So
But you went. Just tell them, where did you end up? Like, where did your career take you to?
Well, I started off playing basketball, wound up playing at Dunbar here in D.C., and then wound up going to Michigan. And then from Michigan, wound up getting drafted in the NBA, played a few years, and wound up playing overseas. Had a decent, career.
A nice run, though.
Yeah.
Who did you get drafted by?
Charlotte was the first team that drafted me. I wound up
Okay.
playing for Charlotte, New Jersey, and New Orleans for
And New Orleans, too.
a throwaway stint. I just say that.
So modest.
can
I
say
mean,
that.
Bernard just does not
Said
want you
throwaway
know.
stint.
Bernard, you know you had a very good career, and you know that you were part of like the elite of the basketball group of people that came out, especially out of Dunbar. I mean, come on now, that's a great high school. I mean, right?
Yeah, I was privileged
Yeah,
to
you
be
were
able to play with
privileged to be a
guys.
part of that. You can't
Yeah,
just
it was a lot. Guys who play the game know it's some luck that go with it. It's some privilege. It's
That's
a whole
okay.
bunch,
Whatever
hard
your
work.
belief system is,
Yeah.
you got there. You were able to do it. So,
appreciate that.
that's exciting. But, so just talk to me about, have you attended some of the games?
Nah, I've never been to a game. They've been trying to.
He's scared he gonna put a jersey
Yeah,
on.
see,
Oh,
you
they're
see
scared.
what's happening right now?
He gonna end up putting a jersey on.
You
if he
see
comes
what's
to the
happening
game.
right now? You see how this happens? So that's why.
I'm most definitely gonna give him a jersey for sure. If I see him in the building, he better come
See what I'm
late.
saying? You just got to put him on the spot.
I just gotta get him there. I just gotta get him there. If I get him
You
there,
got to get him there.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It ain't
Yep.
me. I'm there. It's the knee.
he said it's the knee.
It's the knee.
It's the knee.
Really? Even in a 30 and over?
No,
Well,
dump.
I mean, I gotta go out there and evaluate, but it's definitely the knee for me. My knee 40 and over
You
right
got to
now.
get out there and evaluate it.
My knee 40 and I gotta see how they moving.
Dunbar went 7-1 in the regular season and got upset by the 15th seed in the playoffs.
I heard
you
it.
could,
We
you
did.
could have made a difference.
We did.
Or it could have been a terrible. Wouldn't have been in that position. You never know.
Anyway, it has been so much fun. So just tell us real quick where we can find out more information if we want, to get more involved with the DC Legends.
Everything's
Coalition.
on our website. We have
Which is?
we have legendcoalition.com. I think, shout out my guy Carlos, it's probably the best
Is
team
it with
website.
an S? So it's
Legend
Legends.
without an S.
Legend
Legendcoalition.com. We're
Coalition.com.
on Twitter at Legend Coalition. We're on Instagram at Legend Coalition. I'm on Facebook. It's Ricky Gorns. Chase is on Facebook.
I see you guys were featuring one of my favorite guys, Keith Williams.
Oh yeah. I did. We have a news page on our website where we do stories on. We just did one on Keith Williams.
Yeah, Keith
it
was
was
on
a
our
good story.
Keith was on our show.
Yeah,
so
yeah, so
we welcome you guys to come back. Keith's going to come back during the playoffs because we're going to have like a all team, former NBA players, coaches, all of that. Bernard said he was coming.
I did.
Right.
I did.
You
Yeah, I
did say you were going to be part of my whole basketball panel to discuss the playoffs. Okay, so before you guys go, are the Wizards going to make the cut?
Which cut? A player cut or which cut you talking
The
about? Playoff cut?
The playoffs. Bernard, you know what I'm talking about. The playoffs.
Don't look good.
Huh?
It don't look good.
It doesn't look
it
good.
doesn't even make
Have
sense.
you looked at their...
I watched them last night. I
They
watched
played
them.
good last night.
Let's get a top 5 pick. Let's not worry about this season.
Would you say let's get some top
Get a
five
top
picks?
5. There's some good players in this draft that we got to take a look at. They can change the frame. John Wall. Love him to death, but he may not be himself when he come back. So got to start looking at what third piece can we add. To him and Bradley
Right.
Beal because
Right.
it's
Well,
looking-
but John Wall is hurt like every year, though. You know that, right?
Yeah, he's hurt.
The last
but,
couple years,
he
he's
got a
been
lot.
hurt.
He
He
got a.
started out with the wrist, then it went to the knee, then it went.
Well, he got a lot of
But-
money to make. So
He's got what? A lot
he
of
got
money
a lot
to
of
make.
money. He got a lot of money. He got a lot. That's what I mean. He got a lot of money. He got a lot of money in front of him. So we got to figure it out with him. 'Cause
With
he,
him,
he,
okay.
if nothing else, he gonna be here.
Okay, so you guys don't think that the Bobby Portis, the Jabari Parker, Wesley, you don't think they can help?
Yeah, I think they can help, but the Wizards was already kind of like in turmoil, just playing inconsistent throughout the whole season. I don't know if it's enough time left in the season for them to completely salvage it. So I mean, the only time is I think it's with only
Thank you,
maybe
Bernard.
like 20 games left or something, something like that. 17 or something like that. I mean, they got to really do some damage if they want to, make the playoffs. But I'm
Right,
just
because they
not
got to beat out.
right. I'm just not sure
Charlotte.
if they can go on that kind of run right now
Right
with the
now.
last 15, 18, whatever many games left.
And
Right.
but what's to do after that? Lose in the first round?
They're
it's-
gonna have to
me-
play.
Exactly.
Yeah,
to
they're
me,
gonna have
to
to
me,
play,
just
even if they get
tank
in.
the season. There's some really good players in this draft. Now the Wizards typically mess the draft up, but there's some good players in this draft that especially in that top five, man, that could
Yeah.
may change everything. So I hope this team just won 10 games for a reason.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
Right.
Right.
Okay, cool. Is there a number or anything, or just go to the website if people wanna?
Yeah, everything. We have so many ways to contact us on social media and our website. I mean, our website is completely interactive.
It's completely interactive,
So you can contact
everyone
me,
can go there if they want to
legendcoalition.com, and you can get any information on anything we're doing is on that website.
Okay, 30 and over, 30 and over. So if you are part of this wonderful DC basketball mecca right here in the entire DMV, you guys should reach out to them because they're doing some wonderful things in the community, giving back, featuring, showcasing all the guys that made a difference for guys that went to the league. There are guys that put their games on the line to help other guys achieve their dreams. So that's what they're about, honoring those guys who came before that helped them make their careers successful. The Kevin Durant's, the Michael Beasleys, right? All of those guys, even more than that I can think of. So I definitely want to thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Bernard, for getting them for me, bringing them to my attention,
Thank you
saying,
for having
Alina,
us.
you got to feature this on your show. This is great. I'm glad I had the opportunity to meet you guys. You guys call me, reach out to me, come back, let me know when things are heating up, and I will definitely have you guys on. Okay?
Appreciate you having us.
Nice to meet you, Mr.
Same
Chase,
here, same
Mr.
here.
Goings. Great to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lawrence, thank you.
Welcome.
We're going to get to Go-Go. I'm serious. We'll be at the Go-Go game, the Capital City Go-Go game this Saturday. So look for us. If you guys have not bought your tickets, go out to the Washington Capital City. Pops Mensa Bonsa who's going to say, Alina, it's Capital City Go-Go. Stop saying Washington. Capital City Go-Go. Get your tickets and go on out and support your semi-pros because, hey, that's guys come from there that go directly to the Wizards. We see that more this year than any year I think I've seen. So anyway, don't forget, tune in every Tuesday, 6 p.m. right here at Listen Vision Live to watch your girl, me, always featuring people in the community that are doing big things. So look for me every Tuesday, 6 p.m. at WLVS Radio, listenvisionlive.com. I'll see you guys later. Bye. I'm out. Bye. See ya.
I'm gonna take a picture real quick, bro.
No